Hello and welcome back to Alex Goes Sailing. In this episode we're going to pull Meraki out of hibernation for the first time in a very long time and get started on some projects, the first one being the furling system. She's now loaded up onto the trailer. Look at that. Let's see if we can get her ready for the summer. Now in the last episode you have seen me build this tent for Meraki and it kept it nice and dry over the winter. It is now February in the UK about now, so most of the bad stuff is gone and the tent did a good job. Didn't collect water, kept the rain out, kept the leaves out and didn't blow off in the wind, so that's good. Now, in this episode we'll be fitting the furling system that I bought from Meraki. As currently we just run a hank-on sail, which was off my old boat, and I don't really want a hank-on anymore. It's a little bit of a faff when you're pulling the sail up and down so many times, as I'm only a coastal sailor. If I was on a big ocean crossing yacht, then hank-on would be perfectly fine, but I think it's time for the furler. For the furling system I went with a Plastimo 609S. I could have gone with the next model down, but I decided to oversize it anyway, as there wasn't much price difference considering I'd have to get an extra profile. Now the kit comes with very good instructions which make it really easy when putting this together. Also comes with the drum, the swivel, all the profiles and nuts and bolts and little joining bits that you need. There's plastic inserts which you've also got to slide in, and the end caps. It's best to check that you have everything for this, because one missing piece could mean you put it together wrong and not even notice. But they include it all in the instructions, and the cat even came to help. Now you can do this with the mast up or down, but I'm doing it with it down because I have a trailer sailor. Now the first thing you have to do is remove the forestay, the one that runs to the front of the boat, as this is what the furling system runs around. And for me I used a punch to punch out this little pin and another pin to remove this forestay. Once you remove the forestay you can take it out and put it through the drum and then start laying out the aluminium profiles alongside so you can work out how many you need, and then make sure you have the appropriate joints and the screws to fit them all together. I recommend a bit of silicone as well, but we'll get to that. And then the instructions are really handy on what you need to do as well. So the initial starting profile is different to the rest, as this is where you feed the sail in, and that's the one you connect first, and that is done with a big screw at the bottom. It's not threaded, so you have to be careful with it, but as you can see this slider has got a little plastic profile bit on it, so you can't really get it wrong, and that helps you feed up the sail. And there's also this black plastic insert, but you can leave that to the end or at the beginning, it doesn't really matter. Putting together these profiles is quite easy, but don't rush it because you can mess it up. First off, you're going to insert the joining piece of aluminium which goes within the two profiles. It's a very tight fit, so don't try and whack it in there at all, it should slide in. And there's like a threaded hole ready for the little bolt. The bolts themselves are stainless steel and the profile is aluminium, so you've got to use some silicone or something. Just try and slow down that corrosion that's going to happen between the two different metals, and then don't do them up tight. Make sure you get both in before you tighten them right up, and then clean up the mess from the silicone. Now the next stage is to actually insert the black profile that runs down the middle. This is to protect the run of the sail and then also the actual stay and keep them separated. Now I'm using a 4mm stay. These can go up to, I think it's 7mm, maybe a little bit more, but if you've got a 4mm you can tuck it in afterwards. If you've got anything more than that, then definitely make sure that stay is in the middle, as you won't be able to squeeze it in between the two, as it's like it looks like an 8 profile with a little bit of gap in between them, so you've got to be careful with that. But apart from that, you can just slide them right down. Definitely do it in sections, so install one aluminium profile and then insert a black section and so on and so forth. because trying to slide the black all the way down will be a right faff because they get caught and they're a little bit stiff to get in, so definitely do them one at a time. Now once you reach your specified length, you can actually go cut the final profile to meet the final length of the thing. So for me, I got out my hacksaw and cut it perfectly straight, make sure it is perfectly straight and double check it's perfectly straight, because otherwise it will look horrible and won't fit up right. Once I cut it to length, I actually went and got a file and filed off all the burrs that were left over, because you don't want anything sharp left on it. And then make sure you clean out the inside of all the filings, because you don't want any of them rattling about on the inside and it'll just create a mess. Now install that final piece and then you can get the end cap put on, and then you have to drill a pilot hole for the self-tapping screw that you've got to put in, but make sure it's nice and tight so you get it in the right place. Also, don't forget to put the swivel on, because I almost forgot that and that would have been a pain in the arse. Now once you finish putting it together, you can go attach it to your mast and test fit it. Make sure you don't bend it, as you don't want to ruin them profiles, and make sure it's nice and straight when spinning up your sail. Now I was filming this, but my camera ran out of memory halfway through, so you don't see me putting up the mast, so I'll just show you the end product. Now this install went really well. There are a few things you have to be careful with, like the forestay twisting depending on the direction that you actually furl your sail in, and that would mean your stay will become really weak, and that's not good. Also, you have to be careful with your halyard at the top of the mast. It has to be pulling at a certain angle, and if it doesn't, then it might wrap around the actual foil itself and the sail, which is not good. But I hope this helps some of you on how to actually put this thing together, because I was a little unsure when I started, but I figured it out, and it's not actually that difficult. Now that I have the furling gear installed, I can measure up for my new sails, which will be coming soon. But for now, thanks for watching, leave comments down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.